Good morning. This is going to be a short tutorial on how to sit cross-legged, or the Sanskrit word is Sukhasana, simple Sukhasana. So the way that I'm sitting right now, I often get asked in classes how I sit cross-legged for such a long time, because some people find it is not an easy position to sit in, and it's not. So generally the reason for most people why they have a hard time sitting cross-legged is they'll start to feel pressure in their knees, which comes from tightness in the hips. So it's important for us to be able to create that openness, and it takes time. So that's the key too, is you have to be willing to spend the time to sit cross-legged. Most meditation is done seated in this way, so if you can't sit comfortably, it's going to draw you away from the experience that you're having when you're trying to find a peaceful, quiet place to stay in. So I'm going to give you a few tools and a few pointers so that you can hopefully find your way to sitting comfortably. So the wall is a really good place to start. The wall allows for you to lean back in a sense so that you don't actually have to focus on keeping your spine long. The wall supports you. So I am using the wall as my backdrop. I'm also going to use a couple blankets, a couple blocks, and a bolster. So I'm going to show you first with the bolster. So I'm going to take the bolster and I'm going to place it at the wall, right up against the wall where I'm going to sit. And then I'm going to grab 2 blankets. You can also use towels if that's all you have at home. Most people have a blanket. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to prop my knees up with the blankets. So it's nice and soft. They provide cushioning. So what that's doing is it's elevating my knees so that they're at the same height as my hips. And that is what you want. If you have a limited flexibility in your hip joints, hip flexors. And then I'm going to come right up against the wall. And I'm going to sit. And it feels really good. I had a woman ask me in one of my classes yesterday how I sat like this, and I showed her variation. So I'll show you what I showed her. So if you have access to blocks now, you can also do this with blocks, so without the bolster. Instead, you're going to use 4 blocks. So if you're at a yoga class, don't ever feel like you can't set yourself up this way, because there's no point in harming yourself just to get into a pose that doesn't feel good in your body. That doesn't make any sense. So, blocks. I'm going to put 2 blocks against the wall, just like I did with the bolster. It's going to be a little bit firmer this time. And then my sits bones go on top of the block, and my knees. So it's the same thing, essentially, we're just using different tools. So once you start to get the opening, once you start to practice this, and I would say, you know, if you're watching TV or you're reading, if you can try to come into this for, say, 5-10 minutes at a time, it'll gradually extend itself. So you'll be able to stay longer, but you'll notice it gets more comfortable and more comfortable. So then what you do is you take away the top block. It's a little bit easier. And then perhaps you lower your knee blocks. You also want to remember that if you're staying here for a long time, it's important to switch the front leg. So this is the way that when I sit, I generally gravitate towards, because it's more comfortable. So I'll remind myself to switch legs every once in a while so that I'm creating balance on both sides of my body. And then once you stay here for a while, what you're going to notice is, it's not so bad. Maybe I can start to take the blocks away. So then we take the blocks away. I still have the wall though. I like to have the wall behind me when I'm meditating. It reminds me to keep my spine long. Again, it also acts as a support. And then from there, flat on your sit bones. But remember, it's a practice. it takes time. So be patient with yourself and note that everybody has areas of flexibility, flexibility in different areas. So what's going on for the person on the mat next to you may not be the same as what's going on for you on your mat. And what's important to note is that that's the practice, is that when we can let go of our ego and bring accomplishment and blessing to the things that do come to us, you'll find that things will start to open up a lot easier. So enjoy your day. I hope this helped. Namaste.